So it's been a hot minute since I've done any game development stuff. Adult life got in the way. Now I'm a little bit more settled, and I've got no longer homeless. So I've got a place. I've got base of operations now, so I can continue working on game development stuff. I thought because it's been about well over a month since I last did any game development things, I decided to ease myself back into it by just creating a very simple little, it's not really a game, but it has all the typical shit. So player, box collider, player controller, player attack script, using a fire point. So if I go to the player, there you go, there's the player. That thing here is where the bullet will come out of. The bullet that's a prefab of a bullet. I mean, it's just a yellow circle, but you know what I mean. And an enemy that doesn't do anything, but it has got a rigid body component and a box collider, so it will. I haven't tested this, by the way. What should happen is the player should actually shoot a bullet out from the fire point, and it should interact with this. I'm assuming it's going to push it along, because obviously there's physics in play. Player script is very, very basic. In fact, it only moves on, where is it? Yeah, it only moves on the horizontal axes. I always get these mixed up. It's either X or Y. I think it's Y. It's on the Y axes. I always get those mixed up. Very basic projectile thing. There's a bullet effect, which, so it will actually do like an explosion. Haven't animated that. Probably won't, but I wanted to have the option in there because I'll probably recycle this at some point anyway. Did have an idea of maybe making a like kind of an endless wave shooter where you're a big robot and you just shoot wave after wave of soldiers. Heavily inspired by a game called Walker, which came out, which I've named here, which came out in the early 90s by Psygnosis. It was on the Commodore Amiga. Absolutely loved that game. I played it to death. I loved it so much, and so who knows? I might just do that on a weekend. I might make that game. But for now, this is just easing myself back into it. It's a bit like rehabilitation. After sports injury, kind of feel like I need to just get back into the groove. And so anyway, let's see if this works. So yeah, that's the player, that's the enemy, and if this works, bullet should hit that, and it should move along the ground because I've given the enemy a rigid body component, so physics reacts, and it's got a box collider. Yep, it's not a trigger, so it's a solid object. It's like the floor here. The floor is basically just a sprite with box collider, which isn't a trigger, because otherwise if I put it as a trigger, these things would just, actually let's do that. There you go, bye. So okay, let's just stop faffing about. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I know, this took like half an hour to an hour to do. Not very long at all. I was just kind of racking my brain. I didn't really want to refer to tutorials. I did take a look at some of my scripts, but I just kind of wanted to do it without having to refer to anything, just to kind of prove to myself that it would work. Yeah, bullet effect, whatever, ignore that. And I've got clones of the bullets, and it will do that. And for days on end, it'll just shoot. And yeah,